Mr. B in that old trophy case. Number 4 still waiting for, well, bring on the chase. Out on the field at Mile High, Broncos win is our desire. Coupled with Breck, Brew, and a friend, bleed orange and blue to the bitter end. Come and join us, DNVR. We are DNVR.
Welcome into the DNVR Broncos podcast on this terrific Tuesday on the Denver Broncos bye week. I'm your host, Zac Stevens, joined by my man, Andrew Mason. Before we hop into the show, got to tell you guys about our presenting sponsor, MSU Denver Online. And of course, over at MSU Denver Online, they put a dynamic education at your fingertips without forcing you to decide between earning a degree and living your life. It's something that is so difficult to find. How can you continue your education while continuing to live your life? And you can do that over at MSU Denver, and it is very affordable. And we've had a couple people here take classes over at MSU Denver, and they just have fantastic things to say about how the professors really bring the real world into the classroom to teach you what you need to know so that you're ready to hit the ground rolling. So check them out over at MSU Denver Online. My boy, Mase, how's it going?
It's going all right. You know, I was driving up on Josephine Street this morning on my way to the studio here, and someone was just going at it with a leaf blower, right?
Yep.
Because it's leaf blower season.
I drove by him as well.
Yes, but here's the thing. He's blowing the leaves into the street, right?
Yep.
And then you have the onrushing traffic whoosh, and it's just knocking the leaves right back up where he blew them from.
If he keeps doing it for a long enough time, Mace, they'll go to the other side of the road, and then it's someone else's problem.
You gotta do that like at a slower time of day, I guess. But you can't because it's noisy. You can't go out and blow leaves at 11 o'clock at night.
You can't.
People will call the cops on you if you do that. Is there anything more futile than a leaf blower?
Oh boy, it's pretty. Lawnmowers are up there as well.
But you cut because the grass grows back.
Right.
But it grows back in like a week or two.
Right.
So.
And you're rocking the Rapids today.
Yeah, I just thought I'd accessorize. Actually, I'm all soccer today because you have a U.S. National team game.
How about that?
Somewhere in the 2014 Bomb Pop U.S. soccer
I love it.
jersey.
I love the Bomb Pop.
It's a CONCACAF match day, and USA is playing Jamaica.
How about that? Yeah. Mace is all soccered out today, but let's talk football.
I'm ready for the football bye.
And let's talk football because, Mace, we're pretty much at the midway point of the season. Of course, just over at 10 games, and we're at the Broncos bye week, which came at a perfect time. And I want to hand out some grades and go through pretty much every player on offense, defense, coaching, and let's start with the quarterback position because, Mace, we have a little bit more of a conversation here than just handing out a grade for Teddy Bridgewater because yesterday it's been a rough 24 hours for Teddy Bridgewater after that game and then yesterday, and I think we rightly said just how detrimental Teddy Bridgewater was by not making that tackle, but credit to him. Yesterday, Teddy comes out and speaks to the media for a second day in a row and just takes full responsibility for what he called an unacceptable play. He failed the team. What did you think of what he had to say?
I'm glad he did it. I mean, don't say that too loud because there are some people in the Twitter sphere who are going to roast you just for having any kind of praise of somebody doing the right thing, but it was doing the right thing on his part. And I know this kind of sounds cliched, but this is rare what he did. Like, quarterbacks usually don't talk on Monday.
Right.
And this look, some of it was on Teddy. Tip of the cap to him. Broncos PR made sure he was available, but he had to face the music. And he faced the music in every way. I was told that he actually met with all the position groups. Went through and talked to as many of the players on the team as he could, apologizing and saying that he should have done differently. He should have tried to make a play. And then, of course, in the team-wide film session, he was roasted by Vic Fangio.
Yep.
So he faced,
as it should be.
He deserved it.
And that's something that I said yesterday was if Vic Fangio wants to show this entire team that's unacceptable, you do it in front of the entire team just like he did, just like Bill Belichick did with Tom Brady.
And Bruce Arians does with Tom Brady as well. if Tom Brady is not above criticism, Teddy Bridgewater certainly should get it when it is warranted, and it was warranted here. I mean, I know the death by inches cliche has kind of become a punchline.
Yes, it
because
has.
of the results the last couple of years, but that was death by inches there.
It certainly was. Certainly was. The whole game could be different after that. I still think the Broncos lose, but it certainly would have looked different. And Mase, now you gave Teddy props for doing that, and I want to give him props as well for coming out and doing that. That's big to just own it. He didn't back away from any question that was asked, and that's all that his press conference was about, was just his decision that he failed on. Now, are we saying that he's totally fine, dissolved everything? No, we're not. We're not saying that.
No.
And actions speak louder than words. On Sunday, Teddy's actions spoke louder than his words yesterday. But it's a step in the right direction. Has he earned his coaches and his teammates' trust and the fans and the media's respect? No, he hasn't. He's still going to have to go out and do it on the field. And sure, if he gets another opportunity to hit a guy, I'm sure he will, and that will be a big step in the right direction to earning it back. But, Mase, what it's going to come down to is wins. If they beat the Chargers, people are going to forget about it. If they beat the Chiefs, if they split those games and then they have a winning record after playing Detroit in 3 weeks from now, then everyone's going to forget about it, and that won't be a defining part of his time in Denver. However, if the Broncos are 500, below 500, drop these next two games, then absolutely that will define Teddy Bridgewater.
Actually, the only way it won't define him in Denver is if they make the playoffs.
Well, I disagree a bit because, and this goes to our Broncos pick'em that we had over the weekend. You think that Teddy and, well, tell me if I'm wrong, you think Teddy and Vic are back only if they make the playoffs. Is that right?
Right.
And I think the bar's a little lower. Not that it should be lower, but I think the bar's a little lower.
Yeah, that's just the vibe I get is playoff mandate.
And I hope that's the case.
Yeah, and look, it's a legitimate possibility. I mean, you're one game back in the division. I think the interesting thing now is that we've kind of talked about, wild card. If the Broncos did make the playoffs, the most direct path is actually doing well in division games and winning the division.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I mean,
crazy enough.
Crazy enough, the Broncos have control of their fate to have a home playoff game in their hands. Doesn't that sound insane?
It does.
That they could be at home in January, but it comes down to the last 7 games, and in particular, those first 2 weeks. Because if you beat the Chargers, you literally go to Kansas City with a chance to take first place.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Period.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It is wild, and that's a position the Broncos have set themselves up in. Okay, Mase, let's jump into the grades, and let's start with Teddy Bridgewater. What grade are you giving him?
C.
Oh, okay.
Average.
Okay.
Look, and I'll say this, I had it a bit higher before he pulled up.
Fair. And that's very fair, Mase. I'm gonna go, and I think with these grades, how about we meet in the middle wherever we are and give one collective grade. I'm gonna go B- here, and the reason for that is maybe it's recency bias that he's the best the Broncos have had since Peyton Manning in 2014 in terms of his on-field play.
If you're on the Broncos curve, he's an A.
Exactly.
The Broncos post Peyton curve, Teddy's an A.
Yeah.
Compared to the others.
Now, the reason I didn't go C here is because I think he's actually been slightly above average in terms of other quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Right now, he has the 10th most yards. He has the 3rd best completion percentage. His passer rating is 11th. Now, what drops him down? His QBR is 24.
Third down also. And third down conversions also.
So he has not been great by any means, but I think he's been a little bit above average. And Mase, I actually like where we have him. I think a C+ is a perfect.
C+.
Well, is that a Cornholio thing?
Have you ever seen A Christmas Story?
No, I have not.
Wait. They run that movie for 24 hours on TNT or TBS over Christmas. And they've done this since time immemorial, and you haven't once watched it?
No, couldn't tell you who's in it, couldn't tell you what the cover looks like. I couldn't tell you anything about it. I'm only TNT or TBS guy when it's like the basketball playoffs are on.
Wow. So
or some primetime Thursday night.
So you say, the Red Ryder BB gun, you'll shoot your eye out, kid. This means, fudge means nothing to you.
Yeah, no, it's foreign language to me, Mace.
Oh, yeah, Zach.
I'm a football guy. Mace, you do it all. I do football.
Don't you watch movies and TV shows, right?
Some, yeah. You know, since I started dating my fiance now, 11 years ago, she doesn't like movies.
Oh.
I could tell you we've probably watched a handful or less of movies in the past 10, 11 years. Now, I've gone off and done my own a little bit, but...
Yeah, and another piece of the Zach puzzle falls into place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So that would explain that a bit.
Holy cow, I learn something new every day.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I'd say most people watching know what I'm talking about.
I've heard of it.
Yes.
So yes, I know.
Okay.
I know I'm in the minority there.
Yeah.
All right, let's hop to another position. Let's go to running back. And Mason, we kind of have two running backs here, so we can mush them together or do whatever you think.
Yeah, I like the way Kale spelled it, by the way. Running backs.
Running backs. That's what Broncos have, some running backs.
Yes. So if we're going to put them together, B+.
Mace, it's exactly where I was going to go as well. And,
A's are hard to get.
A's are hard to get, and A's when the running backs combined have 4 fumbles. I think they've only been charged with 3.
Right.
But Javonte did fumble that one time, got it back.
Melvin fumbled against Washington because they put him in there because Javonte fumbled.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And so A, you kind of got to be flawless. And I agree. You got to be really, really special. And the Broncos running backs have flashed really special. And they've actually been a really good 1-2 punch. Melvin has been that consistent guy where he's going to get you 4.5 yards, 4.5 yards, 4.5 yards. And Javonte's been that guy where he's going to get you one, and then break out for a 30-yarder. And Javonte's going to bring the energy. And I think these past couple of weeks, we've actually seen Javonte get more and start to be more of the consistent guy, not of the 2, but he's starting to be more consistent in the way he is. Instead of 1-1, 31, it's more like 2, 3, 5, and then the 15.
Well, to be specific on why kind of Javonte just goes 1-1, 30, when he gets the big hole, he maximizes it because at this point he's bigger and faster than Melvin Gordon. He's going to break more tackles. But Melvin is still much better at reading holes when they quickly flash open and accelerating to them, whereas Javonte is still a little slow to read those quick flashing holes and get there. So that's where Javonte has to grow, and I've seen progress from him. Especially, I saw some progress from him on Sunday in that area. So if he can get to the point where he's able to read those holes as they open, and I'm not talking about the big holes. I mean, like in Dallas, he had holes you could drive a truck through.
Right.
But most holes are lickety split. They're there for an instant and they're gone. When Javonte gets to where he can read those better and attack those better, then he's going to be the complete package at running back. Right now, he's still not where you want him to be just yet, but he's a rookie. That's going to come with time. So I have no doubt that he's going to get there, but right now, that's why you're still, even after the fumble, you're still going to see plenty of Melvin Gordon. Although maybe based on how many carries they had Sunday, maybe the scales flip a little bit to where Javonte gets more touches than Melvin.
Yeah. And I think that's the direction we're going, and that's what we saw this past Sunday. Javonte had more snaps. Javonte had more carries as well. So I think the transition's starting to begin. All right, let's jump to receiver, Mace. And do we want to do the starters, Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, Tim Patrick?
As a group, or do you want to do them individually?
That's what I'm asking you. You want to do them together?
Let's do them together.
Okay, let's do them together. How have the Broncos receivers been? What grade are you giving them? I'm
giving them a B.
That's exactly where I was going to go.
And lame.
And the thing is, this
maybe I should have
group,
given him a C+ for giggles. And create some debate here.
If you want to hit it and have it be a B-, we can. But
B is fair.
This group has been good. And I think that's what the B represents. They've been above average. But Mace, coming into this season, I think we probably would have said this group should be an A, maybe an A-, something along there. This group should be special, and this group has not been special. And they've had the best quarterback play. Now, could they have better numbers if they had Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson? Of course, I'm sure they could, and that would help. But this wide receiver group has been pretty hit or miss. Now, Jerry Jeudy injured for most of this season, so it's not fair to put that on him necessarily. But when he's been out there these past couple of games, he's been good. But he hasn't been special. He hasn't been making incredible plays. I think in week 1, he was on pace to be that incredible special guy, and I think the injury really set him back. But so he's been good, not special. Cortland Sutton, I can't wrap my head around who he is. He is maybe the most inconsistent, really good receiver in this game right now. I mean, Ryan and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and he said, well, every receiver is going to be inconsistent. And I said, well, let's look at some. And we went through a couple of elite receivers, and Mase, their bad games are 75 yards, 80 yards. And then, of course, they have the good games of 100, 150. Cortland Sutton's bad games are 12 yards, or 23 yards like he had this past week, something along those lines. And then he also has the career-high best, 150 yards earlier this year against Jacksonville. He's just too inconsistent to raise this group to an A. And then Tim Patrick, for being a third receiver, he's an A, of course.
And what if I told you that the last 3 weeks combined, Cortland Sutton has 78 receiving yards?
Wow. And that's what I'm talking about.
Last 3 games, 5 catches for 78 yards. At the same time, he's only been targeted 9 times in those games. And so I'm a little more benevolent to Cortland Sutton here. What I want to see Teddy Bridgewater do, and this is going against kind of Teddy's general elan as a quarterback, I want to see him try to find him on some jump balls.
Yeah, sure. And isn't that on everyone? It's on Teddy. It's on Cortland to show that he's open or get a little separation or something. And then it's on also Pat to draw that into the game plan.
Yeah, to say, look, if he might have tight coverage on this play,
right,
but Cortland can win those jump balls. Give him a chance.
Yeah.
I think that's something that you're looking for ways to kind of open up this offense a little bit when you come out of the bye.
Yep.
That's where I would start. Is, Cortland Sutton doesn't need to have separation to have a chance at the ball because of the type of receiver he is and the skill set he possesses.
Yep.
So give him a shot.
I totally agree. In the first 7 games of the season, Cortland Sutton was on pace for over 1,200 yards. Mase, in the past 3 games, he's on pace for a 400-yard season, if that's what he were to do. So, I mean, that just tells you the inconsistencies right there.
Right. Now, over the course of the season, it's interesting on a per-game basis. Sutton is averaging 62 yards a game. Tim Patrick, 52. Jerry Jeudy, 57. So when the 3 of them are out there, there's actually pretty good balance.
Yep.
Now, what is interesting also, you look at Cortland Sutton on a game-by-game basis, his 4 lowest receiving, or 3 of his 4 lowest receiving totals are, 4 of his 5, because I just noticed this. 4 of his 5 lowest receiving yardage totals are in the games that Jerry Jeudy played. So that's another thing. They got to force him the ball.
Who's the number 1 receiver then? To
Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah.
It's Jerry Jeudy.
Yep, and it's not even close. That's a great stat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But also, I would say that, again, kind of focusing on those 4 games that they have played together, Tim Patrick has 39, 64, 85, only 14. Not a good game last week for Tim Patrick.
No, it wasn't.
So he had 149. Let's see, 149. I know this is great podcasting, great video. 163.
I see the wheels turning in your head.
So when Jeudy, Patrick, and Sutton are out there, Patrick is averaging just over 50 yards a game. Jeudy is averaging 57.
Yep.
And Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton is averaging, about 30 yards a game.
Yep. Yeah. And Mase, this ties in perfectly with our next position. So we'll get to tight ends, but to bring the two together, what type of year would you say has Noah Fant had?
Maddening.
I think that's a great word. And the reason I ask and how it ties together is Noah Fant has 1 less catch than Cortland Sutton.
Yes.
And he's played in 1 fewer game than Cortland Sutton. And, of course, the wide receiver position, even when you have a receiving tight end, is supposed to be more dominant in the pass game, put up better stats. And Cortland Sutton has 1 more catch than Noah Fant. I think that really opens people's eyes of just how disappointing a season is. Not, and it's not all Cortland's fault, but at the end of the day, it's been a disappointing statistical season.
It has, and we'll get into Fant as well, because you could argue there's some disappointments in his season too.
Without a doubt. And let's
Yeah.
give a grade out for the tight end position. And of course, this involves not just Noah Fant, but he is your one, Alberto, and then Eric Saubert as well.
This might be unfair.
Oh, I think we're going to do the exact same grade.
C.
Okay, I was going to go C+.
There are just too many mistakes.
Yeah.
Noah Fant's penalties. Albert O with the pass through his hands downfield from Teddy Bridgewater against the Ravens. Eric Saubert with the holding penalty on Sunday that took a touchdown off the board.
Noah Fant with the holding penalties.
All year. Yeah, all year. I mean,
Yeah.
and the thing is, you sit and look at Fant statistically, and in terms of, he's played 9 games, he's averaging nearly 5 catches a game.
Not bad.
But he's not at. But his per catch average is way down. Mm-hmm. He's not even at 10 yards a catch. He hasn't broken a tackle this year,
No.
according to Sport Radar.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
According to Sport Radar, Noah Fant has not broken a tackle. Melvin Gordon has broken 4 tackles in the passing game. That actually leads the passing the Broncos in the passing game.
Okay. Eric
Eric Saubert has 7 receptions, 1/6 of the total of Noah Fant, and he's broken 2 tackles.
Yeah. Wow. That's not a crazy surprise to anyone. No, we all know that Noah Fant hasn't been Mr. Breaking Tackles, but to not have one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not one. According to SportRadar.com, not one broken tackle.
Yeah, and so you look at Noah, he's on pace for a fine season for a tight end. Like, if he was a 4th-round pick, you'd say he's having a good season. He's on pace for, 600 yards, 70 receptions. So that's good. That's good, but
In Simpsons parlance, it's perfectly cromulent.
yeah, he's perfectly cromulent, and it's
But that's not what you drafted him for.
It's not what you drafted him for, and that's why I just went slightly above average, but I'm okay with average as well here. And just like talking about Courtland Sutton, just a little disappointing in what your expectations were. So I like that for the Broncos tight ends going with the C.
I mean, one thing I will say, compared to what you used to get from Broncos tight ends, I mean, I remember a few years ago talking about the lack of production from the position before Noah Fant came in. Well, you've collectively among the group, you've got 68 receptions and you've got 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That used to be more than a full season's worth of work, and you've got it in 10 games. So the Broncos tight end position, it is better than it has been in terms of its productivity and involvement in the passing game, but we got to see more. The talent is there for more than we have seen from this group.
Hopefully we see less from the tight end group. Hopefully they can be more. You like that? You like that?
That was A-level right there.
Oh, hey, there we go. And let's speaking of,
I should have said if I wanted to be kind of, if I wanted to kind of rip a little bit, I would have said it's on the D list.
Yes, you would have. And speaking of D list, let's talk about the offensive line. And because there's been so many moving parts on the offensive line, Mace, I think it's only fair to kind of give one collective grade for the offensive line. Where are you going here?
Teddy Bridgewater, I believe, is 5th in the league in time to throw, 2.91 seconds.
Oh, not bad.
Now, he's taking some hits. Look, it's not perfect, but he's getting time to throw, and at least on the large scale. The thing is, when you watch offensive line play, everyone focuses on the times everybody gets beat.
Yeah, of course.
A tackle can go 49 out of 50, but if on the 50th play the edge whips around him for the sack, that's all anybody's talking about.
Right.
In the big picture, the Broncos' offensive line isn't bad,
okay,
even with all the injuries. Look at the holes they're creating when they're able to get downhill. This is a B group for me.
A B group, okay, and I'm going C plus here.
So we'll split the difference, say B minus.
Exactly, and the reason that I'm going C plus here, Mace, is you're right. The Broncos' offensive line has been good in pass protection, but I can't get over the first 6-7 games of the season where there were just zero holes for running backs to run, especially on the inside of the offensive line. And that's a big reason why Javonte was going for 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, was because maybe they would create slight holes, but it just wasn't enough at all.
But sometimes the play design is only going to call for the flash of the hole.
Yeah. No, and that's why Melvin and Javonte didn't get a perfect grade either. But the offensive line, the interior, was just getting destroyed for a good part of the season. So I think B- is probably pretty fair for this group.
I mean, I think what you're looking for and saying also is there improvement. Well,
there
Garrett
is.
Bowles has probably taken a bit of a step back.
No doubt.
A little bit of a regression to the mean, but he's stabilized things before he got hurt. Lloyd Cushenberry's getting a lot better. Mm-hmm. Quinn Miners is definitely showing a lot of promise. I think Dalton Reisner actually has maybe played the best back-to-back games that he's had in a while.
Right. Recently.
Probably since his rookie season. And so maybe there is a little bit of recency bias here because the form of the O-line has been much better in the last couple of games.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of promise there. And Bobby Massey's actually, you could say, has been the best right tackle this team has had since at least Jared Valdir, and maybe going all the way back to Big O Orlando Franklin.
Yeah, I'm going all the way back with Bobby Massey, and
he's good.
He's just straight up been their best offensive lineman this year.
I'm looking at Massey and you have to live with he's going to have an injury. He's at the point in his career, and he's missing some time right now.
Yep, you'd be foolish not to count on it.
Right, but you can count on him probably realistically for 12 or 13 games at this point in his career.
Yep.
I would bring him back on another 1-year contract based on what I've seen from him.
Yep.
If he wants to keep playing, and he may be at the point where he only wants to be a Bronco because he is settled in Colorado. That's his home now.
Yep.
That if Bobby Massey wants to keep coming back year to year, I think you'd be happy to have him at right tackle.
Yeah, I completely
Until
agree.
he says, I don't want to play anymore.
I completely agree. And something else you'll definitely be happy with is DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, where they've got an awesome deal going on right now for new users. If you bet $1, you'll win $100 if the team that you pick scores. That's all they have to do. So pick New England or Atlanta this coming Thursday night to score. And if they do, you get $100 in free bets, which you can use on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Broncos aren't playing this week, so man, what a perfect time to get in and go around the rest of the NFL, watch some other NFL games this weekend. And the Broncos can't lose this weekend, so you're guaranteed a good weekend. And heck, you're guaranteed a great weekend if you turn $100 in free bets into even more than that. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get $100 in free bets if the team of your choice scores a point. And of course, DraftKings is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Now, you can come on down to the DNVR Bar and watch all the NFL games on Sunday. Just because the Broncos aren't on doesn't mean you're not going to watch some football.
Oh, of course.
And we'll have all the early games, all the 8 games on the televisions here. So come on down for a little brunch at the DNVR Bar, watch some football, and get on your DraftKings app and bet on DraftKings. I actually enjoy an occasional Sunday without Broncos football.
Yep.
And actually, for me, it's double. There's no Bucs game either because the Bucs are on Monday Night Football.
How about that?
So it's like,
wow, you got free
there's
Sunday.
There's no work stakes. There's no personal stakes. I can just sit back and graze and watch and just kind of watch everything. And you could watch Red Zone at home, but why not just come on down to the DNVR Bar and then whatever game is popping, just turn your head, check out the television, and you can watch that. So just because we don't have a tailgate this week, although they're doing the tailgate show.
Yes.
So they are doing that. So the tailgate show will still happen.
Mm-hmm. So you can start your morning off drinking with them at 9:30 Denver time.
Oh man, I guess it's beer. It's beer 30 somewhere, right?
And they'll be drinking Breckenridge brews at the tailgate, and of course at all of our in-person tailgates. Breck Brew fuels us, and Breck Brew also fuels the DNVR Bar. You guys got to get over here and check out everything they have. And of course, it is Christmas ale season. You can get the mini kegs, so many liquor stores. Man, those are so much fun. Perfect for a holiday get-together. Perfect for your Thanksgiving get-together. You got to check out everything Breck Brew's offering, whether you're at the bar, at the tailgate, or even if you're out of state, check out their Breck Beer Locator online, and you can find out where to find all the Breck Brews. All right, Mace, we left off one position on the offensive side, and it's offensive coordinator. And I would say Pat Shurmur, but now we had a little Mike Shula in here. So what grade are you giving pretty much Pat Shurmur?
C-.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
And those who thought Mike Shula was going to change things, I mean, I tried to warn people on social media by pointing out the offensive ranks of Mike Shula's units over the years. Mike Shula wasn't going to change. If anything, Mike Shula's overall performance as an offensive coordinator historically is worse than that at Pat Shurmur's.
Yeah. And what have we talked about with Pat Shurmur mainly is he getting fired this week? Is he getting fired this week? When's he getting fired? I mean, that's what everyone's been asking, and you can't have a better grade than a C- if that's the question that's surrounding you most of the year.
I mean, you give him credit for kind of him and the staff, because I think this is kind of a staff grade as well. Give him Mike Munchak credit for getting the offensive line going, dealing with injuries. I mean, there have been times where you felt like you were holding your breath on the offensive line, but the reserves have stepped up and played well, all things considered.
Yep.
They have, it hasn't been like, oh my God, we're playing with 3 backups. It's a sieve. That didn't happen on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
There were issues with the team, but the offensive line did fine.
Yeah.
Against Philadelphia, despite being down 3 starters.
Yeah. Now, the other thing with Pat Shurmur is this offense is averaging 20 points per game. That is bottom 10.
Yeah.
And
that's why C- is probably the best you can give.
And exactly. I mean, they are supposed to be averaging at least 24. I mean, that's average, and they're averaging 20, so it's below average. It's not good enough. I mean, you could even put this grade at a D as well, but I think it's fine. It's C-. Okay, let's flip over to the other side of the ball. And you know what? No, we'll save coordinator and head coach for the very end. Let's start with defensive line. Mace, how's this Broncos defensive line been? For the most part, fairly healthy outside of Mike Purcell.
Mm-hmm. It hasn't made the splash plays that you'd expect.
No.
It's been effective. I mean, for me, Draymond Jones has played better the last couple of games. This is a solid B for me.
Okay.
This is a workman-like B.
Okay. You're too nice. I'm gonna go C+ here, so we can settle on a B- for this group. To me, this group has been disappointing in what we wanted them to be, but it doesn't mean that they haven't been good. I think workmanlike, I think solid is a good way to put them. Maybe a little bit above average, but where are the game-changing plays from Shelby, from Draymond? We're starting to see glimpses of those, but we did not see those for the first 7 weeks of this season. And the run defense is also something that comes down to them, and that's one thing. When we've started to see these splash plays from Shelby and Draymond, we've seen the run defense go the opposite direction. Right now, Broncos just literally right in the middle in terms of run defense, giving up 110 yards per game.
I think the root cause of that is a little different, though. We're going to get into that when we talk about another area of the defense.
Let's talk about it right now.
Let's talk about
inside linebackers, and boy,
are we grading on a curve?
All 10 of them. Nope. Just how they are. It's tough because, I mean, you started the season really good with Josie Jewell. He's having an incredible season, and Alexander Johnson. Then you definitely started going drastically downhill, and now you're going uphill.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to say a C.
Okay.
Because of all these guys, there's only one piston that really is misfiring in a bad way, in a damaging way, but when he's out there, teams are going at him, and that's Robinson. But it's no fault of his own. Curtis Robinson is not at a level where he should be playing extensively in the NFL.
Right. Yeah,
he should be a special teamer developing. He gets thrown out there against the Browns. He gets thrown out there against the Eagles when Baron Browning's back flares up. It's not a coincidence that and I think we even talked about it in the press box when Browning went out and Robinson went in, the Eagles should go right at him.
Yep.
They did.
Yep, and then when they did, it was successful. And yeah, you can't put much blame on Curtis Robinson. I agree with you.
He's doing
Mace.
his level best, but at this
Exactly.
point, he doesn't have what is necessary to succeed at that position.
And so you've had so many backups playing who honestly deserve grades that are D's. But when Josie Jewell, Alexander Johnson playing, they were playing at a really high level, especially Josie. Now Kenny Young is playing at a really high level. Baron Browning's playing at a high level. Those guys bring those D's up. So I like a C here. Maybe I think a C is probably pretty fair. Now they're trending to be finished with a potential B for this season.
I'm worried about Baron Browning's back spasms, though.
Yep. They've acted up a couple of times now,
and he's been dealing with one injury after another ever since he got here.
Yep.
And so that's that's an alarm bell going off right now.
It is. And Mase also, when you look at this group, the only guy that has really not lived up to expectations has been Justin Strnad. I think we all had higher hopes for him. Now he's dealt with an injury. Now I believe he's on the he's just dealing with an injury now. And so
he was on COVID list, but
he was, and before that he got benched for Kenny Young and Baron Browning. But outside of that, everyone else has either met expectations or been above expectations. And same with Curtis Robinson. He's met his expectations of just not being a starting quality inside linebacker.
Now, we saw, of course, against the Browns, you had Strnad and Robinson out there together. I wonder if things would have worked better for Strnad working with Kenny Young if he had been available last Sunday and had been the one who came off the bench.
I'm sure it would have helped.
I'm not saying that the Broncos would have won. I don't think the Eagles would have gashed the Broncos in the same way.
The Browns?
Or the Eagles. No, I'm talking about the Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles. Okay.
Yeah, if Strnad had been available.
Yeah, I think we've seen him struggle in the run game a little too much this year for me to feel comfortable.
He struggled, but like the Browns game, it was him and Curtis Robinson.
Right. And they both struggled.
Right. So you put him next to Kenny Young, I don't think it would have been as bad.
I certainly don't think it would have been as bad. All right, let's go to the outside backers here, Mase. And boy, I mean, talk about disappointing compared to the expectations.
Yeah. Von Miller still leads the team in quarterback hurries, by the way.
Not good.
Yeah. Are we great? We're including Von Miller's play in this, but
he played in.
Malik Reed has been, fine.
Yep.
Not the concern. The concern I have on Malik Reed is he's not holding up well at the point of attack against the run.
No, and that's really been exposed the past couple of weeks.
And Jonathan Cooper's shown some flashes.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Weatherly has shown some flashes, but it's a C group.
It's a very C group. Now this team, in terms of sacks, 11th best in the NFL, so pretty good there. But you just look at the injuries they've had. I mean, Bradley Chubb has done nothing for this team. Von Miller, take away his first 3 games. And boy, this team is really struggling statistically getting after the quarterback. Outside of Jonathan Cooper, who's been a real bright spot, and Malik Reed's been who he is. But
you have 4 sacks from the secondary too.
Yeah,
of that total.
And so, in terms of what this team was supposed to be here, Mase, incredibly under. This was supposed to be your A+ group.
This in the secondary. Mm-hmm. We'll get there in a moment.
Yes, we will.
But for reasons of injury and ineffectiveness, it hasn't worked out that way for the Edges. And look, Bradley Chubb being injured, Malik Reed's been a starter. I expected more from Malik Reed. I think what we're seeing from Malik Reed right now is that he's probably a perfectly functional pass rusher. Probably not somebody who you want in there every down.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing from Malik Reed is if he is your number 2 outside linebacker, still a starter, but not your number 1. He's on the opposite side of that guy. He's good. You're very happy with that. But when he's called upon to be your 1, like he has this past month, that's just not who he is. Mm-hmm. And right now he's on pace for about 8 sacks. That's great from your number 2 guy who you're paying nothing.
Like he had last year.
Exactly, but that's not good for a team that had 2 top 5 draft picks that's paying one of them over $20 million.
So we're on positional investment, huh?
Well, no, in terms of expectations, yeah. But I mean, in that's not Malik Reed was not supposed to be that guy. Yeah. and he's being asked to be it, and he can't live up to that.
He's fine for who he is.
Yeah, exactly. He's really good for who he is.
Yeah, and he'll have a solid career.
Yep.
I mean, I think you were hoping that lightning would strike twice.
You would.
And then it would be
with
Shaq Barrett,
Yep.
but Shaq's just stouter at the point of attack.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's something that I think went overlooked for a long time with Shaq, was just how good he was in the run game, and why the coaches started favoring him over Shane Ray.
Yeah. Should have kept him.
Should have kept him. Officially a C? It was, yep, a C right there. All right, Mase, let's talk about that secondary, and let's start with the cornerback position.
B+.
Okay, that's nice.
Bryce Callahan was arguably the best slot corner in the game before he got hurt. Ronald Darby has been good. Not great, but good. Kyle Fuller struggled mightily early, but has played better since he came back. Obviously, sometimes you get on the bench and it clears your head a little bit. And to Kyle Fuller's credit, he handled the benching in the right way. And that's probably, if he keeps playing the way he has the last couple of games, that's probably going to earn him another contract somewhere. And then Pat Surtain has been kind of, he's become your CB1 at this point.
Without a doubt.
So, I mean, you look at Kyle Fuller getting burned early, and that plays like that, moments like that are why I can't give this group an A.
Yep.
But they've been good in run support. Surtain has been what you hoped he would be. Darby, I think, has been a little bit better than expected, and Callahan was terrific in the slot. It's a very good group on balance. B+.
Man, I'm going B here, and it is trending in the right direction, but I can't get over those games where Kyle Fuller was consistently getting beat, and then when Ronald Darby came back, he was getting beat for the first game or two when he was back. And then so you have two guys that have had some poor play, but then have shown a lot of improvement as well. And then Pat Surtain has just been everything that you wanted and more from that cornerback position. We haven't talked about him a lot because he hasn't been able to make huge plays, because he hasn't been being thrown at, and that's what Champ Bailey was so good at. You just wouldn't talk about Champ Bailey outside of the season where he led the league in interceptions, because then quarterbacks just stopped throwing his way, and that's what Pat Surtain is already becoming. And then, like you said, Bryce Callahan, damn good in the slot.
He was terrific before he got hurt, and that's a huge loss. For this defense.
It is a big loss.
If Callahan had stayed healthy, I was going to start beating the drum for him being a Pro Bowler. From what I'd seen of him at the slot.
Yep.
He was having his best. He was having what looked more and more like his best season.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So
I completely agree. So we can go with you, Mase, since we're in a tie. We can go B+.
Let's be benevolent here.
Let's go a B+ there. And now finally the safety position.
If we were making this grade in the middle of October, this might have been shockingly low.
I would have. Yep.
But to their credit, Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson have cleaned up most of the issues. Simmons has gotten back to his playmaking self in recent weeks, and Caden Stearns, rotating in sub packages in terms of per play production, might be the most efficient defender in the NFL.
Yeah. He's getting like 6 plays and he's making plays.
Right. It's funny, when I did individual grades on them, I did Simmons A-, Jackson B, Stearns A. I'm going to give him an A-.
Wow.
The only A of any kind on my list.
I can't do it. I have to go a B+ here, and the reason is, Mase, for really the more than half of the season so far, of the half season we've seen, this unit, Justin Simmons wasn't living up to who he was. He was good. He was good. Now, these past couple of games, he's turned into the guy that the Broncos were hoping for when they made him the highest paid safety. But he wasn't there for the first, 6 games of the season?
He wasn't, but remember, for the first 3 games, you were still getting good play from the unit as a whole.
Yeah,
good
play.
It was the Baltimore game, the Pittsburgh game, the Raider game. Those 3 in a cluster were bad. So you're looking at a 3-game stretch that was bad, a 7-game, a 7-game stretch that was very good. Maybe we'll settle on this one. We'll break the tie and go in your direction.
Okay.
I think, but 7 excellent games, and especially when again, you hear all the time, oh, we got to fix this, we got to get better, we got to work on the communication. They actually did it.
They did.
It wasn't words coming from Simmons and Jackson.
Yep.
They went out and did it.
Yep, 100%.
And so I got to give them some credit for that.
Yeah, they went out and did it, and that's such an easy thing to not be able to overcome, is saying the communication things. And Mase, the good thing is, when it comes to the safeties and the cornerbacks, they are both trending in the right direction.
We might be talking about the unit as a whole, the secondary. If Kyle Fuller keeps playing well,
Yep.
and Pat Surtain continues to build on what he's done, we may be talking about the secondary as a whole being an A- to A type of unit when the season is done.
Yep, without a doubt. Without a doubt. All right.
It's still there for the taking based on their midterm grades.
Absolutely. Mase, let's give out head coach grades. Vic Fangio. What does he get here? Yeah. You're shaking your head.
I mean, it's average.
C?
C.
And I think so too. And the reason I'm going C here, and people may say, what? Not a C minus, not a D? The defense, points per game, Mase, is 4th best.
But points per possession, actually, I'm going to say C minus.
Okay.
Points
And
per
we can go with C minus.
Points per possession, they're much lower.
How low do you know off the top of your head?
I believe this year in terms of points per possession, they've dropped by, they've fallen back by 0.4 of a point per possession.
Okay.
So you figure that's basically over a typical 10 possession game. That's 4 points.
That's not good.
And
that'll drop
but
you.
It tells you that on some level the offense is doing its job. It's not scoring, but they're holding the ball for longer. But the defense, when they're getting out there, is less efficient, and it's frustrating because this defense on paper should be better than the one last year.
Yep.
And yet, on a per game basis, it is. On a per possession basis, so that factors in pace. It factors in the fact that they're seeing fewer plays. It's not.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and also there's been, in terms of the coaching, like the head coaching decisions, there's been some questionable things happen. We had Draymond Jones just come out on Sunday and question the coaching as well.
Game management's still an issue.
Yeah, game management's still an issue here. And, I mean, I don't even want to give a grade out to Ed Donatel because that is... I don't even know how to separate Vic Fangio and Ed Donatel at this point. I mean, I think you'd have to give Ed whatever Vic's getting.
I think with the defense, I think you'd say... Because we're grading Vic as a head coach, not just as a defensive coordinator.
Right.
Like, I would say, for example... Here's how you have to be a head coach. At some point before you start answering questions, Vic, you've got to see the play. And I'm talking about the Slay fumble return of the Gordon fumble and then what happened at the end of it with no one stopping him. And he gets up there after the game and he gets on the radio as well and says that he didn't see it because of his angle. You got to in those 10 or 15 minutes you address the team. That's the play of the game. You got to see the play, see the angle, at least the TV copy, and it's very easy. Someone just look on your phone, go on Twitter to the NFL handle, and you can watch the play. Okay, it's not that hard. It's not that hard, but it's things like that.
See, but to me though,
it's things like that show that he still is focusing kind of too much on kind of the moment, on his own thing on the defensive side, and he needs to have a broader perspective. Sometimes it seems like Vic can't see the forest for the trees, and he needs to have a bigger picture perspective. He is the head coach, not the defensive coach. He is the head coach.
Yep.
And he's the one who's answering those questions after every game. And that's just... you can wait for the film, but a play like that, just somebody, Just watch the play. It would have taken 30 seconds. Watch the play.
See, I think for him that's better not to watch the play so that you have more time to meet with your staff and look it over and think of things before you talk to the media.
But he's been in the NFL since all but that year, the time at Stanford. He's been in the NFL since 1986. He's seen everything. He wasn't born yesterday. He does know what's good, what's bad, what's wrong. If he sees a play, whether it's his defense or it's his offense.
Yeah. I don't blame him for that personally, but I see what you're talking about. And Mitch, you talked about him pulling out his phone and looking at that. Maybe he needs Mint Mobile because then he could have cell phone service wherever he is because, of course, over at Mint Mobile, they are offering incredibly cheap cell phone service starting at just $15 a month for unlimited talk, unlimited text, and the data plans start at $15 a month. And you're probably saying, okay, where's the catch here? There is no catch over at mintmobile.com/DNVR. The reason they can make it so cheap forever is because they don't have any in-person stores. You don't need a store in person in order to go get a SIM card. No, what they do is you go to mintmobile.com/DNVR, sign up for their plans, which is the exact same cell phone service as every other provider. And what you do when you get that, when you go on to mintmobile.com/DNVR, they send you a SIM card. You get to keep your number. You put the SIM card in your phone when you get it. You download an app, and boom, there you go. You are all set. And it's as easy as that. And then you get to start saving money. We are all on Mint Mobile right now. And Mace, it is fantastic. It's truly as easy as that. Go to mintmobile.com/DNVR. They send you a SIM card. And then you start saving hundreds of dollars per year because it is that much more affordable than every other cell phone provider. And right now, Mace, they're offering a buy 3, get 3 plan. So what you do, buy 3 months of Mint Mobile at that incredibly affordable price, and you'll get 3 months for free. We're doing that right now, and it is absolutely fantastic. So that's it. They're already saving you like 75%, and then they're cutting that in half. So they're saving you so much money a month. So check them out at mintmobile.com/DNVR.
If you want another discount, go to Manscaped. Use the code DNVR at manscaped.com for 20% off shipping. It's getting toward Thanksgiving, and you carve the turkey, but sometimes when you carve the turkey, you mess up, right? Well, if you mess up down below the waist, you're going to have problems, scary problems if you're trying to carve things down there. So you got to make sure you have the right tools for the right job, and that means Manscaped. Blitzing through hairs has never been easier than with the products from Manscaped, and it's time you join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Like I said, use that code DNVR at manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping. It's 3 and out the window with all the other trimmers. Now go tame that Wildcat offense. And you can do that with the Performance Package 4.0. It's the perfect package for your package and a key for great grooming and a hygiene routine to make sure the boys downstairs are smooth like Tom Brady in the fourth quarter. That's not a great analogy this week.
It is not.
Tom Brady didn't even get on the field in the fourth quarter.
Taylor Heineke in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that Washington offense in the fourth quarter. That was smooth. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take your defense to the next level. This fourth generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor. Wow. Don't most cars get up to 10,000? That's it.
Yeah, there's a car engine in this.
Think about that. Now that sounds scary if you got a car engine down around your balls, but not
very scary.
With this. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a multifunction on-off switch, and it can engage the travel lock, and it gives you the ability to turn on the 4K LED spotlight when needed for a more precise shave. So if you've got to trim your boys in the dark, just pull out the Lawnmower 4.0 and turn on that LED spotlight. And it's waterproof. So if you ever get the itch to trim your balls in the rain or in the snow,
wow,
you can do that with the Lawnmower 4.0.
Not advisable, but you could do it.
Sure. Well, actually think about this. It's waterproof, right? A lot of people have hot tubs here in Colorado. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so conceivably you could, get out of the hot tub and do a little quick trim right there outside in the cold.
Yeah, may
it
want
could
to
be
be
snowing.
outside of the hot tub before doing it.
Yeah,
That could make
outside
for a messy hot tub.
outside of the hot tub. But you're out there. You're kind of out in the open. It's cold. It's snowing, and you don't have to worry about your lawnmower 4.0 getting messed up. And there's no 15-yard penalty for this clipping. And also, don't forget about the Weed Whacker. This is an elite nose and ear hair trimmer. It's also waterproof. And I talked about 7,000 RPMs. The Weed Whacker is 9,000 RPMs.
About that.
It's got a motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system and also has proprietary skin-safe technology to prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. And after you've trimmed your footballs, show them some love with Manscaped's liquid formulations. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner are here to take your balls to the next level. So check out all the good stuff at manscaped.com. Check out that performance package and use the code DNVR and get 20% off free shipping at manscaped.com.
And check out our friends over at Ball because they want to hire you and give you a job. Over at their Golden plant, they're hiring for their production technician position. And guys, the benefits are incredible. But this position is a front line on the aluminum can beverage process at Ball's plants. And the company is offering a competitive $27.39 per hour with potential for increases at 6, 12, and 18 months on the job. It offers exposure to a lot of other manufacturing opportunities within the company. So get your foot in the door with a great job over at Ball starting at $27.39 per hour. And they've got so many good benefits as well. They have insurance. They have 401k for retirement, stock purchase options, and a opportunity for a huge annual bonus. So make sure to check them out. Go to jobs.ball.com and search for Golden or text Golden to 77222 to get in and work at Ball and be unstoppable over at Ball. That's jobs.ball.com and search for Golden. All right, Mace, let's hop into the comment section.
Wait.
No. We did not grade special teams.
Oh, yes. Let's
And-
give Tom McMahon a grade.
Also, before we hit any of that, I have something incredible to show you.
What's that?
This is one of the official USA Today photos from the game this weekend,
Okay.
featuring our man Eric Guida.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my
D-line
gosh.
coach just encompassing Broncos country right there. Wow, with the beautiful hat, with the beautiful Breck
Even
Brew.
got the Breck Brew logo on there.
Yeah. Oh, my. Were there tears underneath those hands, or what's going on here?
A lady never tells.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, he won't give up his secrets, but
No,
wow.
then-
You're famous.
Then I'm going to caption this for you. What the did I just watch?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Was that right? Was that right after the fumble?
Mace, you know me too well. No, actually, this was at the end of the game.
Yeah,
Oh.
to me that wasn't what the F. To me that was my heart is just absolutely in shambles right now.
You let everyone. You know what? I think Broncos country would have been better served health-wise if the Broncos had lost to the Cowboys and then lost to the Eagles. That Cowboys win just gave everybody hope, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden pushed off the cliff.
Yep. All right, now speaking of not joyful things, let's talk about Tom McMahon's grade.
Almost every week, 7 out of 10 games, there's some kind of catastrophic special teams error.
Yep.
Block field goal.
Yep.
Block punt. I mean, look, some of this is it's execution, okay? Like there are errors of execution, something you can teach, and then if the wrong thing happens, oh well. Like you look at the block field goal, Draymond Jones gets beaten to the inside.
Yep.
Not a good moment for him.
Yep.
And you also have Drew Himmelman who's playing there, and he's an emergency call up, so it's his first time out there basically. And the Eagles, kind of to their credit, decided, oh, new kid, promoted on the practice squad, basically battlefield promotion. We're gonna go right at him.
So what's a grade?
It's a D.
It is
And
a D.
I like Tom, but it's not working.
No, it's
not
not.
working.
And the reason it's not an F here is because the special teams for 2 or 3 weeks started to perform better, and then it all went to shambles in Dallas. That was the only group that didn't show up, and then of course against
As
the
Vic
Eagles, it
Fangio
didn't-
said.
yes, and against the Eagles, it did not show up as well. So
Oh.
cannot give a passing grade for Tom,
The
unfortunately.
one, Brandon McManus is kicking well, but how much of that is on Tom?
Brandon McManus isn't kicking well the past 2 weeks
Not
either.
but over the course of the 10 of the season.
Yeah, but I mean, even that is starting to go wrong.
Yeah, but that's a Chris Gould thing. Like,
Okay.
when it comes to the mechanics of kicking, that's a Chris Gould job.
Sure. Yeah. And
He's doing fine. And Sam Martin when he's not under pressure is doing fine. But,
I mean, the special teams is failing right now.
You've had two punts deflected this year. I mean, this is just it's
bad.
like when it happened, like when the field goal when the block field goal happened on Sunday. It's like every damn week with this unit. Every damn week something goes wrong.
Exactly. So we got to get in a better place. Let's hop into the comment section.
We don't want to grade McManus and Martin. They're fine. Give them B's. They're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
there
good.
we go.
Sam Martin's hang times are fine.
We've got a super chat to hit.
Oh,
before we
let's
get
hit
to the
this super
comments.
chat coming in from Preston Epley. He says, DNVR gets an A+ for making this season interesting. Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
Preston. That means the most. That's the biggest grade I care about. So thank you, Preston.
I appreciate that. I mean, I don't know how interesting we're making it, but we're trying here.
And let's jump into the comment section where our friends in the comment section always make it interesting. Mace, we've got time. We got 10 minutes. Let's get to as many questions as we can. First one coming in from Howler Bro Surf. New member here. You got me. We got him. Where do I go from here? I don't enjoy watching the season, so your great content is a highlight of Broncos anything now. Where do we go from here? I like Teddy, but he's not the answer. I think Locke sucks, so I don't want to see
You
him
and Rex Ryan.
or hear it from the stands. I want Vic gone, but not mid-season. I just want this to be over with. Let's hire Todd Bowles and draft Carson Strong and get on with it. Howler Surfer Bro, or Howler Bro Surf, I think you're spot on just in terms of where you kind of are. So many people want immediate change. We just saw what that's going to do. If they fire Pat Shermer, Mike Shula's not any better. So the immediate change probably isn't going to do much now except put a lot of strain on the rest of your coaching staff. And I think that if the Broncos continue to trend the direction they're trending right now, you will see a new quarterback or an investment in a quarterback and a new head coach.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't gotten any indication that Todd Bowles is on their radar. If it were Mase, the owner of the Broncos, Todd Bowles would be on my radar. Mm-hmm.
So Byron Leftwich?
I'd interview Byron Leftwich as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that they're both doing good jobs down there, and Bowles has the head coaching experience in the past. Also, the thing with Bowles that I like is
Todd Bowles, not Garrett.
Todd Bowles, is that his coaching DNA, he comes from lines of problem solvers. Joe Gibbs and Bill Parcells.
Like it.
Those are they're Hall of Fame coaches, obviously, but they are coaches who excelled in adapting on the fly. And to me, that like the thing I am looking for from a head coach above tactics, scheme, everything, is how you adapt to changing situations, how you solve problems, how you lead the entire group. Do you have that big picture mentality? I think, and having done it before, what did you learn from that? Look, the Jets have been absolutely putrid since Todd Bowles was fired. Mm-hmm. Their last good season, 10-6, was with Todd Bowles as head coach.
Right.
I think he's going to make somebody very happy in this cycle.
I think you're right. And welcome, Howler Brosurf. We love having you rolling with us. Thanks for the comment. Orange and Blue for life. He says, I know people are upset about Teddy and the video looks rough, but I have been and must continue to stay with my feelings about this matter of the play. I never want my quarterback attempting to make a play following a turnover. I'd rather they just head straight to the sideline. And that's a coaching thing. Mm-hmm. And if Vic Fangio, we talked about it yesterday, if Vic Fangio came out yesterday and said, or we talked about it post-game, Vic Fangio came out and said, I told Teddy to not ever put himself in the way, then Teddy would be completely fine after that. But we found out that was not the case. Right. And I understand where you're coming from, Orange and Blue for life, but that was never directed for Teddy.
Exactly. And I think it's a perfectly defensible position. One thing I was just hearing Chad Brown on the radio say on Monday morning is that when he played for Seattle, Jim Zorn, the QB coach, said literally, and I mentioned this to you guys yesterday, that they had a day in camp where they practiced tackling drills, and they practiced learning how to fall, like on a slip and slide.
Yep.
Because you might need to do that at some point.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. I would also agree with you, Orange and Blue for life. I wouldn't want my quarterback.
I know Tim Jenkins had some similar comments as well. You don't practice it, but you coach your guys to be willing to make a play.
There we go. Manning's forehead, speaking of quarterback, says, hello, folks. Been a while. Can we talk really quick about how ridiculously good Peyton's first draft has been? 6 of the 9, not counting Kerry Vincent, have already gotten solid play time and have performed very well. I think the biggest bust so far is his 6th rounder, Seth Williams, which is crazy. I have the utmost confidence in Peyton. Yeah, right now his draft class is looking great.
And there's no such thing as a 6th round bust.
Right.
Especially this year when the back rounds of the draft were much more fallow than other years because you had more guys coming back for their super senior seasons after the COVID altered year.
Yep.
So, Seth Williams doesn't work out well. You get to round 5, 6, and 7, there are no busts.
And you're hitting on some
point.
of those 5, 6, and 7 guys.
Exactly. I mean, like you had Jamar Johnson and Caden Stearns. And by the way, if you have a lot of picks like the Broncos do, if you have double-digit picks in a year, I love the idea of doubling up at a position. Best man wins.
Yeah.
Jamar Johnson came in with better film. Caden Stearns had the better athletic measurables.
Yeah.
And so far, Caden Stearns is ahead. But yeah, you had 2 guys.
Jamar Johnson will be a backup next year.
Yeah, you had 2 guys. One is flourishing. The other is on a little bit of on a slower timeline.
Yep.
That's okay.
It is okay for a late round guy.
Yeah.
Hawkeye Broncos says, fellas, while watching the game, it honestly felt like the Broncos are going to pull it off up until the play. I was never on board the Teddy train as I imagined this exact scenario playing out. No way. A middling team that's up and down, ending up with no progress to a solution and simply a forgettable season. Okay. I thought he meant he saw that play coming. I threw my support behind Teddy and enjoyed competent football, which was nice. However, after that excuse of an attempted tackle, I'm out on Teddy. He quit on this team, quit on the fans, and quit on his future in Denver. How does he have any credibility in the locker room? I guess it's back to washed-up veterans shopping aisle for us in the offseason. Anyway, just my 2 cents. Cheers to you guys and my DNVR fam. Love a sad fam. I totally see why you're sad and disappointed, Hawkeye Bronco. And hopefully Teddy's comments yesterday will help you get on the right track. But like we said, he's by no means just absolved by what happened. His actions are going to have to show it, and really winning is how he wins this team back, how he wins you back. But the way the Broncos are trending right now is let's hope they're not shopping in the veteran shopping aisle for a quarterback next year. Let's hope they're shopping for a first-round quarterback, and that may be with Teddy as the starter for one more year.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I know this is not going to give anybody any hope, but let's say that you're not able to get Russell Wilson, you're not able to get Aaron Rodgers, for example. You know who the best free agent quarterback on the market as of today is?
Geno Smith.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, yep. An upgrade over Geno Smith, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, look, he said the right things yesterday, and he had to. That was all he could do.
Right.
All he could do was be well said yesterday. The only way he earns back the trust is by having games that allow you to say, well done. There's that you see that around. I saw it at the Panthers facility when I worked there. Saw it at the Broncos facility. I think it was a John Foxism. Well done is better than well said.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. It's very, very true. And Mace, we got a few super chats to hit really quick. First one coming in from OPMG says, our offense isn't designed for specific players to explode weekly. There should be at least 3 deep balls a game to Sutton just to scare defenses. Shake my head. Yeah, I agree with you.
Don't disagree with any of that.
Throw it up to him until he proves that he's not that guy anymore, but he hasn't been able to prove that.
And you know what? If you get a 7-yard run on 1st and 10, 2nd and 3 is a perfect opportunity to test deep.
Absolutely. It is. And another one, he comes in, OPMG again. Thank you so much, OPMG. Yeah. He says, Judy should be a first down monster. He should be used like Marvin Harrison was. Our routes or out routes and slants, baby. Come on, man. Shermer is really hurting us.
Yeah. I want to see him
Judy should
use
be a
his
monster
guys better.
as well.
He should.
Yep. And Jacob says, $5 from Mase to tie in a Seinfeld reference to this pod. I guarantee he can do that.
Oh, I think I can. I mean, I'm running out of time, right?
Hit us with one.
Okay. Well, it's not really endemic to football, but I thought about Seinfeld when I was parallel parking because there was an entire episode about backing in versus to your parallel parking spot versus going in front first. Zach, you parallel park every day? I do, here near the DNVR Bar. Uh-huh. Are you a front first guy or back in guy?
Oh, you have to back in.
Really?
Absolutely.
I'm a complete front first guy.
I didn't even know that was possible.
I feel like I was noticing because I'm parked over 1 block away from here, and I tried to back in, but I couldn't. Now there was no one around me, so I wasn't holding anybody up, and it wasn't like the standoff that happened because you had George trying to pull in and someone else trying to pull in. But yeah, I gotta go front first.
I didn't know you could even
there
do
are
that.
some that would think that I am an animal, that I am not an evolved human being because I pull in front first. But anyway, yeah, that's an episode that kind of gets lost. It's not one of kind of the classic episodes, although it does have a classic moment where Kramer tells a woman, "Congratulations." She's like, "Why? You're pregnant, right?" No.
Oh, boy.
Which is why you never congratulate somebody on being pregnant unless they first offer the information that they're pregnant.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, never do that. Never.
So there's your Seinfeld reference, and we'll get to one more comment from TCU Broncos. Says, I have not missed a Broncos game in over 20 years. I love this team and have been a diehard fan my entire life. But if we roll out Teddy again, I think it's going to break my streak. From my understanding, Teddy is a great guy off the field. That's totally fine. I wish him the best, but I cannot stand him as a Broncos quarterback. He can't hit a target 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage with any consistency and refuses to take any chances. His numbers will make him look good on paper, but no one can seriously tell me he has won a game for this team. I don't give a darn if he completes 6-yard passes on 3rd and 10 and finishes the game with a 75% completion. Looks good, not helpful. Is it a coincidence that we are about as abysmal on 3rd down and red zone conversions? Nope, he's been that way his entire career. And now he's making business decisions as a captain. Absolutely no room for that. Manning always gave a legitimate effort in those situations, even after 4 neck surgeries. That is real leadership. Put in anyone else. Rip in Locke, a free agent. I don't care. I'm done watching Teddy in a Broncos uniform. On a positive note, love y'all and remain a loyal listener for as long as y'all are around. Well, we love you, TCU Bronco, and I'm sorry that this Broncos season really took a turn on Sunday.
Yeah, I think Sunday broke a lot of people.
It did. But you know what's going to get them right back?
Beating the Chargers?
They beat the Chargers. Yep. Going into Kansas City with an opportunity to be ahead in the division.
Another Seinfeld reference. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Yep, that is exactly what the Denver Broncos are doing. And
they'll probably do that. They'll probably beat the Chargers, pull you back in, and then you're out. And then they come home and they beat the Lions and the Bengals, and then you're back in, and they're going to Vegas on the day after Christmas.
Yep, exactly.
That's probably, look, if I had to bet on something happening, that is what I would bet on happening.
Yep. Just a back and forth. People are going to be out. People are going to be in. And someplace that you're always in is our friends over at Green Mountain Dental, where if you schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam, you'll receive a free Sonicare toothbrush. That's all you have to do is go and get your teeth cleaned for them to hand over a free Sonicare toothbrush. You're going to go to the dentist twice a year anyways. Might as well go to our friends over at Green Mountain Dental. They're part of our family. They come out and hang here at the DNVR bar. We go to them to get our teeth cleaned, and that's what you should do as well. And on top of that, they'll give you a free Sonicare toothbrush when you schedule that cleaning, x-ray, and exam. So make sure to check them out over at Green Mountain Dental. And Mase, that'll do it for us today. Thank you all so much for rolling with us on the pod. Anyone tuning in live, we really appreciate it. Hit us with a thumbs up on your way out. We would greatly appreciate that. Mase, I appreciate you for rolling with us. And everyone listening to the podcast, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow.
You'll be back.
I'll be back. You'll be traveling.
I am going to Wisconsin for a couple of days.
Safe travels, Mase.
Thank you.
Have a great bye
I
week.
will talk to everybody on Monday.
On Monday, there it is. But we will be back with you tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos podcast.